What's up, y'all? What's up, Extreme Gains fam, aka my bot farm? Hope everybody's good. I hope you had a good day today. I'm Chuck. This is Extreme Gains. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Thursday, December 29th, 2022, and this is my AMC, GME, and SPY Thursday daily update and preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. As always, I hope you bots had a great day in the market, both yesterday and today. More importantly, I hope you made some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going to go over some of my regulars, my snake algo method for all three tickers, and some macro comparatives. So with all of that said, let's dig in. It's an inside thing. You had to be there. Anyways, today, like I said, is Thursday, December 29th. This is the last trading day of December, and this is the last trading day of the year 2022. New Year's is upon us. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful day in the market tomorrow. Obviously, I hope you make some extreme gains tomorrow as well. Big announcements coming up here in 2023. I have a bunch of stuff happening behind the curtain, a bunch of things being built. Hint, hint. I stay tuned for all that. I will give you guys an update on this stuff or announce it when it's all ready to go. Pretty exciting stuff. So I hope y'all at least stick around for that, if anything, because it's going to be pretty big in my opinion. So have that coming up in 2023. And then as far as the schedule moving forward here for the update and prep videos, we do not have trading on Monday. The markets are closed again for New Year's on Monday. So I'll probably do the weekly update and prep coming up over the weekend into next week on Monday instead of Sunday. I typically do a weekly update and prep for any newcomers here on Sundays. I'll probably do it Monday this coming week instead of Sunday for obvious reasons. So with all of that said, let's dig into these charts. Currently on your screen is AMC and my current intra-week snake. AMC finished the day today up 7.81% in regular trading hours, currently down 0.48% in after hours, trading at 412. The current intra-week snake is on your screen in red. That is the day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake that you see in blue there behind it. And once again, today and yesterday, price action continued to fulfill this intra-week snake as it was projecting. It has now fulfilled its projection for 8 consecutive weeks from its initial placement to where we're currently at. You can see the location of price action within it and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. From a technical perspective, with the levels that I have been talking about, they are all still intact. I am looking for that 395 critical level of support to hold this bounce that we just received today back up above that level. If it were to carry that bounce back to the upside, looking for a resistance level next at 431. A breach of that inside of this macro descending third here, I'd be looking for it to potentially become resistance again if it happened tomorrow around 475 or 480 prior to potentially making contact with that 503. However, back downside, whether it rejects off of the 430 after a continuation to upside or just finds midline resistance back downside, I'll be looking if that price action breaches 394 at the 355 as the next significant or critical level of support to the downside. And that is everything from that perspective. The macro comparative for AMC, as most, if not all of you know, I have been tracking this macro double bottom from prior to the January 2021 run-up for the entire year of 2022. And here is the most recent position of it, an ongoing position of it, and the continued fulfillment of it. I've been looking at 2 scenarios, as likewise most, if not all of you know. Here is the OG placement of it with the current intra-week snake on it as well. In this scenario of this continued placement and potential fulfillment, I have looked at this and interpreted that upside projection being fulfilled in a mirrored downside manner. And if that were to happen and be the case here, I'd be expecting price action to potentially converge back with it here if it continued to fulfill the red intra-week snake to that point, and then a potential convergence back with and a continued fulfillment of it in that position, therefore fulfilling this macro double bottom for that possible continued fulfillment of the macro comparator for that upside move. That is scenario one that I am still tracking and looking at potentially happening. However, that would require this to continue to fulfill that intra-week snake, as I think I've already said. The second scenario is a compressed position, a horizontal compression of this macro comparative, which would put it right there. And you can see the continued fulfillment of it. Likewise, very similar to the intra-week snake. And you can see the difference in the continued fulfillment of that throughout if it were to fulfill that. So those are the two scenarios that I'm still tracking with the macro comparative and in combination with the current intra-week snake moving into tomorrow and beyond. And that is everything that I have that I am personally looking at with AMC. Then up next is GME. GME finished the day today up 2.29% in regular trading hours, currently down 0.44% in after hours, trading at 18.25. The current intra-week snakes that I've been tracking are on your screen. Red is the day prior to the previous divergence from the previous intra-week snake, and blue is the day of divergence. Now, I did have to horizontally compress the blue day of for obvious reasons. It was out here, and you can see where price action fulfilled that in that downside manner and where that would put it. So you can see the continued fulfillment of it as well. This has now been fulfilling for 5 consecutive weeks since its initial placement to our current location. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. As far as working this day prior to now down here to give me that nuanced mirrored fulfillment from that day of divergence intra-week snake, you can see the position of it there, giving me the mirroring here, the mirroring here, the mirroring here, here, and here, right? Throughout. I'm not the best drawer in the world. So there's the position of the day prior to. So if price action were to nuance mirrored fulfill away from what the day of divergence is projecting, then you can see what that projection is from that intra-week snake. Moving into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then from a technical perspective, again, just like AMC, the same levels I have been talking about are still intact. I'm looking at the 1805 to continue to be support. If price action were to stay above that level and get a bounce back upside, I'm looking at the 1948 as my next level of resistance. However, back downside, if the 1805 were to breach, the next midline level down will be right around that $17 level. If that were to breach the downside, the next macro significant level that I'll be looking at will be around the 1560 price range. And that is everything that I am looking at with GME. Last but not least is SPY. SPY finished the day today up 1.8% in regular trading hours, currently down 0.09% in after hours, trading at 383.08. The current intra-week snake that I have been tracking here is the orange. This was the day prior to. Blue was the day of divergence. I did put it off to the side. I said I kind of invalidated it, but I've had it off to the side, keeping my eye on it. The only reason I took this off is it's very hard for me to explain everything in detail and in depth in an 8 to 12 minute video out here. But this left too many variables as far as trying to explain mirrored position and fulfillment versus straight up position and fulfillment. But I am going to show it to you now because it's pretty cut and dry and simple again here. So you can see the position of it, the continued fulfillment of it with our current price action into today and through today. And you can see what the projection would be from it in its straight up position here with that rejection downside and the continued downside fulfillment. And likewise back upside, you can see in its mirrored fulfillment position where price action is within it and what that projection would be as well. Then the one that I've been tracking out here that's kept it easy on me, that's very similar to that in its projection, is the orange one. Likewise, these intra-week snakes on SPY have been fulfilling their projections now from their initial placement to our current price location for 8 consecutive weeks as well. So here it is. And there's our price action within it. You can see we did get that double bottom bounce here, like I talked about, potentially happening off the ascending level of support, and where we're at within it. For this to continue to fulfill in its straight up position, obviously this would need to reject off of that neckline and come hard back downside between these next two candles, which looks to be potentially tomorrow, possibly into Monday morning, for that to continue to fulfill in that straight up position to the downside. And you can see what that projection would be. However, I talked about this potentially fulfilling in the mirrored position, therefore it needed to be viewed in the mirrored position as well. And there's the mirrored position of it. You can see the macro mirroring of that fractal, and you can see the continued fulfillment of it, specifically with that bounce back upside. It is indicating that fulfillment. However, just like I explained, I do believe this upper neckline could provide that resistance for this to still be valid with its fulfillment back downside. Obviously, if it were to reject off that and then subsequently breach that macro ascending level of support to the downside. However, in the mirrored position, you can see what the projection is moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then, like I had talked about in the previous update and prep videos, if that price action that we had last week would have been deemed a divergence from the current intraweek snakes, I did clip a set of new potential intraweek snakes just so I wasn't behind the ball when it comes to this. That way, if price action did show me something different than what the current ones were projecting, I already had the new ones ready to go, and I've already showed them to you once, so I'm going to show them to you again. The blues, the day of divergence, there was only essentially one position that I could put this in, and it is the mirrored position. Like, oh, there we go, like so. Right there. And you can see the W formation mirrored on the initial placement. W formation fulfilled, the move back upside fulfilled, the position within it, and you can see what the projection would be from it. Moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Now, this is what I was talking about. If price action does something other than what the current ones are showing, and they're showing heavy up and down, right? So if we get some sort of consolidative price action versus a hard up, hard down move here coming out of this W formation break out or break down, then this is what I'm going to lean on. That's the day of divergence. The day prior to, this is the one that I gave the example in the last update and prep video of how I am using this in its most conservative position for right now. These things, sometimes I work them throughout. They do get horizontally and vertically changed and manipulated to encompass movement dependent upon what the price action, and more so than anything, what the macro structure displays itself as. So right now, what I had been doing and what I did in the update and prep was show you a candle for candle placement of this that would put this in its most conservative placement. So here's the straight up position of it. I had it back here in the last update and prep video, and I talked to you about potentially moving it out here or horizontally moving it. Here was the original placement of it, and you can see in that position, price action already diverted from it to the upside. If I put it in the mirrored position, we got continued fulfillment of it here today, dead on candle for candle, and you can see where we're at within it and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. However, because this shifts over a little bit and I can still get my 1 day minimum overlap that I typically do with these, I went ahead and moved this over that 1 day, the day right before the divergence would have happened last week. And in that position in the straight up, it is still candle for candle, and you can see where we're at within it and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. This is just off to the side stuff that I am tracking right now until the current intra-week snakes are diverted from. I am still going to lean on them. They are the ones that have consistently led me 8 weeks. If I get a full-on definitive divergence from them, in the event that we get fulfillment out of one of these two, then that's what I'll be tracking moving forward. Okay? All right, so that's everything from an intra-week snake perspective on SPY. From a technical perspective, I talked last update and prep about this macro double bottom being fulfilled. It's now a macro triple bottom. We have a dead on triple bottom. It's just a bottom consolidative, no different than framing it in as a W, other than it just has one more bottom and one more top. So looking at this to potentially provide the same kind of setup a W formation or a double bottom formation would. Back upside, the first level that I'll be looking at for a potential breach and or resistance will be the 385.86, 386 level, call it that, the 386 level, potentially as a lower neckline. The upper neckline, however, I'll be looking at, and this is more significant to me, will be the 387.54, possibly a wick up to the 388. So that 388 level, I'll be looking for price action to potentially reject off of it back downside. If it were to do that with a continuation to upside, the next level down off that rejection I'll be looking at will be the macro ascending level of support. If that were to happen tomorrow, we'd be looking at around the 379.50 price level. However, if that 387 or 388 price level were to breach that macro neckline back to the upside, the next level back upside that I'd be looking at for a potential resistance will be the previous top neckline down from that macro structure at 391.92. A breach of that, I'll be looking at 395. And that is everything from that perspective on SPY. Last but not least will be the macro comparative from the 2008-2009 correction and crash on our current SPX chart and price action. There is the most recent position of it. You can see where we're at within it, the continued fulfillment of it in the straight up position, and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Likewise, I've been tracking this in the mirrored position as well in the event that this macro double bottom or macro double double does fulfill and there is a macro neckline breach back upside, and this were to translate to that macro reversal. Here is the mirrored position of it. You can see the macro structure mirroring. Oh, right there. The macro structure mirroring and macro fractal mirroring. You can see the continued fulfillment of it in that mirrored position and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. My friends, my family, that is everything that I have that I am personally looking at with AMC, GME, and SPY moving into tomorrow, mañana, and beyond. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you all very much. Do not forget to smash the like button on your way out. Send this video out with a bang. I'd appreciate it for the year. Thank you all for all the support all of this year. I promise you there's some really kick-ass big stuff coming up here in 2023. I've been working my ass off behind the scenes. I think everybody's going to be pretty blown away when everything gets done and released. So hang tight. It's coming. I'll announce it when it's time. I appreciate you all, though, from the bottom of my heart. I will get that update, weekly update and prep out, like I said, probably on Monday morning-ish, Monday early afternoon. That way everybody has time to watch it, and then we will be back at it in the market on Tuesday. Good luck in the markets tomorrow. Make some extreme gains for yourselves, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Have a happy New Year's Eve, a happy New Year. Please be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll talk to you all here soon. Later, Gators.